First of all, thank you for joining me for my Facebook Live. Every day I go live here at 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, and that is so that I can help you to succeed in business while winning at home, so you can stop existing and start living, so that you can build your business the way that you want and do what you want, when you want, where you want, and most importantly, with whom you want and how you want. So today I want to talk about the modern education system, how it has created imposter syndrome in you, the entrepreneur. So number one, I already know I'm going to get a bunch of pushback. I got my notes here. I'm just moving them off to the side because I'm going to get animated and passionate about this. I know I am. Um, you're gonna. I know I'm going to get pushback. Yesterday, I released or gave not released. I gave insight into this program, the accessible coaching program that I'm creating, the Business Accelerator, Purposepreneur Business Accelerator, and I got a lot of comments and DMs of people like, I would love to do this, but I feel like I'm not qualified. I don't think I can do this. I don't think I'm qualified. So here's the problem: you have what's called imposter syndrome, and the problem is you were given this by the very education system that you went through. So let's talk about that. Number one, the education system was designed by industrialists to create workers, not free thinkers, not leaders. So the whole system is designed to keep you in your place. Think about it. It's here's a task, do the task. Here's a task, here's the task, do the task. You have a time limit, do it in this time, do it at this time, do it at this time. Everything is told you. You are literally designed to enter. You go through 12 years, and then if you want to get a degree, you go through another 4, 8, 13 years of education just to enter a workforce that is exactly parallel or an exact replica of the system, or the system that you were just trained in is an exact replica of the system you're going to spend the rest of your life in, or that they want you to spend the rest of your life in. And that's because they want workers. The modern education system was created by industrialists, was created by billionaires, and it was created to create good workers, people who learned how to do tasks repetitively, do them quickly and in a time frame, and then go home and then come back the next day and start over and do the same thing, being monotonous without losing their desire to be there, or at least wanting the rewards of the grade system, which then became the money system when you enter the workforce. So that's number one. That's why you have imposter syndrome. If you're an entrepreneur, you are a leader, you are a thought leader, you are creative, you are working outside that box. And so you're told, well, I'm not being a good worker, so therefore I must not be good at what I do. And that's not true. You're great at what you do, just not in the system. You are the person who should have been creating the education system. You're at the industrialist level. That's a big word. Try to say that 14 times fast. You are at that level. You are the person who should be running the show, but you were trained to be the person who's a worker bee. That's number one reason why you have imposter syndrome from the education system. Number two, for the reason why you have the imposter syndrome is because when you go through the education system, if you read a book, you write a report, you have to cite everything. You have to give everybody credit. Well, let's think about this as an entrepreneur. Maybe you read a book on, how to organize your home, and you read it and you got some great ideas. You took some of your personal experience, meshed them with those great ideas. Now you have a new or a better or a different system, but you feel like you're plagiarizing. You're like, well, all I did was I learned this from that person. Yeah, I took a little bit of my own stuff, but I really just learned it from them. That's okay. You learned it and then you made it your own. And now you have a way to help other people that are like you, other people that don't know how to take that system. And they're going, gosh, this seems like a great system. I don't get it. And then you come along and you go, hey, do ABC. I mean, look, guys, let's think about Dean Graziosi and Tony Robbins are right now they just launched a new program. But when you look at the basic tenets of their course, when you look at the basic tenets of Russell Brunson's courses of how to create an online business, any course about how to create an online business, they're all very similar. In fact, Dean created the challenge model, and now everybody's doing challenges. Well, you don't say, well, that person's plagiarizing or that person is stealing because they're doing a challenge. No, they're doing challenge. They're just doing it in their way to suit their audience. That's what you're doing. But school, getting back to why school makes you feel like an imposter, school tells you if you take somebody's idea and you don't exactly teach it the way that person taught it, and you don't cite that person as the inventor, creator, so on, it's plagiarism. It's plagiarism. You're plagiarizing. If you want to say this idea was, you want to say this is my belief or this is my idea, this is how I do things, but you don't exactly give that person credit. So the idea here is you were called a liar. You were called a liar if you said, I learned how to do something, but you didn't give that person credit and you didn't cite it and you didn't recite it the exact same way that person created it or taught it. So number one is you were created to be a worker bee. Number two is you were constantly told you were a liar if you had a creative thought about an already established idea and you tried to teach it as your own. Number three kind of underscores all of these things, and that is you were denied creativity. You were denied creativity by the school system. What do I mean by that? People get, well, you have to write creative essays and, you read literature and there's art classes and all of those things. And that's fine. But here's what it's done, right? You go into an art class, we say, here, we're going to teach you how to do this. Now do it and do it this way. And then somebody comes in and they tell you if your art is good or not based on what the instructions were. Not based on your creativity, not based on just free flow of information, free flow of thought, free flow of creativity. Same with your essay. They come in and they tell you if your insights into this literature, I'm doing a book report, here's my report, and then they tell you if your insights were good enough based on a certain set of criteria. So now as an entrepreneur, you have this idea, I'm going to create this product, I'm going to create this course, I'm going to help people in a certain way, I'm going to change the world like this, and then that old limiting belief kicks in, you're not doing it according to the way everybody else says, you're not doing it the way this successful person says to do it. You're not doing it according to these parameters. You're not doing it, that's one of the biggest issues with entrepreneurship in and of itself. I'm going to go out and start a business. Why? Why not just go get a job, work for them for 30 years, retire, get a gold watch? Because that's not the way the world works anymore. The education system is outdated. The career system is outdated. It's outmoded. We're in a knowledge system where more people are in what would be considered a knowledge industry, meaning they work with their mind, whether they're a programmer, they're a scientist, they're an inventor, they're a doctor. They're working more with their mind, a course creator, coach, an agency, a marketing agency, a funnel building agency, anything like that. They're working more creatively than they are with their hands, with their backs, right? So the old model of creating workers who will go to a factory and be good worker bees is outdated. I mean, that's a whole nother topic in and of itself. I might talk about that tomorrow, about the self-education industry, or the next week. But the point is this, guys, you have to understand that your limiting belief, your belief that you are not good enough, your belief that you're an imposter, that imposter syndrome, that came because of your programming as a child. Forget that programming. You are enough. So you've got to change the tune. You've got to change the station playing in your brain. How do you do that? I'm going to give it to you real quick in 4 easy steps. So stick with me. The step number 1 is you have to define your limiting belief. You have to define exactly, not just that I feel like an imposter. What exactly do you feel like an imposter? Like, I learned it from so-and-so, or this isn't an original thought, or somebody else is already posting this on Facebook. Define the belief. Don't ignore it. You have to face it. I mean, it's just like the 12-step program, right? First step is you got to admit you have a problem. The first step is here, you've got to admit you've got a limiting belief and look it straight in the eyes. Number 2 is you have to interrogate it. So you look it in the eyes and you interrogate it. Find what's true. What's true? Is it true? Is it kind? Is it helpful? Is this belief any of those things? No. So interrogate it. Where did you come from? Why are you here? What is the context of this? Where did I learn this? Did I get up on stage one time to try to recite a poem and I forgot it? My mind went blank and I failed, so therefore I can't ever speak in front of people? No, that was one instance. Interrogate it. That my whole belief that I can't speak publicly comes from one instance, right? So that's number 1, define. Number 2, interrogate. Number 3, designate. So you have to go back into your past. You have to find a true story, whether that's in your past or whether that's in somebody else's past, and designate that as the truth. You say, okay, I failed because I forgot that poem and I look like a fool on stage. However, I've spoken in church dozens of times since then. What's the difference? Well, church, I feel comfortable because these are people who love me, who know me. We're all there to worship God. Okay, so That's now your true story. Or you can grab onto another true story of someone famous who failed at speaking, like Abraham Lincoln, failed at speaking dozens of times until he got it right and then became the president of the United States. So you can grab onto that and designate that as your new story. Hey, if he can do it, I can do it. Hey, if I did it once before, I can do it again. Designate it, whether it's a true story from your past or the true story from someone else's past. The fourth step, so define, integrate, designate. The fourth step is integrate. You need to write it down and introduce it in your brain. It's not enough to just read about it. It's not enough to just, you have to write it down and then read it daily. Introduce it to your brain. Speak it out loud to yourself. Speak it out loud as often as possible so your brain hears your own voice telling it this story. This is how your brain believes what it hears, and it's always listening. It's always on. This is how you rewrite your story. Okay? So always remember, you've got to change the tune. You've got to change the ditty playing in your head. Remember that word ditty? You know, there's a little ditty playing in my head. That's music. Ditty is D, define, I, interrogate, D, designate, and, D, designate, and I, integrate. So define, interrogate, designate, integrate. That's your new ditty. And that's how you change this limiting belief that I am an imposter, that I'm not good enough. And listen, guys, as long as you're a mile up the road, that's all you need. That's all you need. You just need to be far enough up the road that you can come back and report what you're learning, that you can come back and say, hey, watch out for this pitfall. Watch out for this pothole. Watch out for this. Hey, make a left here instead of a right. Hey, I already made these mistakes for you. Let me show you how not to make them. That's all you have to do to be a good coach, to be a good course creator, to be anybody. But you have to keep moving up the road, right? You can't just get a mile up the road and stop, or else those people you're leading will pass you by eventually. That's why I continually read, why I continually do self-education. That's a whole nother subject, self-education versus formal education, which you know my feelings from today, what I feel about formal education. The point is this, guys, you are not an imposter. You have a gift. You have a message to give to the world. And I want to help you give that message. That's why I do these videos every day. So you are not an imposter. Change the ditty playing in your head. Define, interrogate, designate, and integrate your new story. Okay. We'll see you guys tomorrow. No, actually today's Friday. We'll see you on Monday. I think I have a special presentation on Monday. We'll see. Maybe things get done over the weekend. We're going school clothes shopping, so maybe not. I don't know. We'll see you guys on Monday. Have a great one. Bye.